Hola amigos, I am Lorenzo from BroodMinder, and today it's a very nice day. We are end of July and we are visiting a sunflower crop. We are in the southwest of France, and this sunflower crop is a very particular one. Those plants are dedicated to seed production. Here we are producing the seeds that will be used next year by other farmers here in France or elsewhere in Europe to grow again new sunflowers. So how do you know that this is a seed production crop? Well, you have a very particular setup here. You have males, like those ones. You have 2 rows of males and 6 rows of females. And then again 2 rows of males, 6 rows of females. The females, like that one, have one single capital here, and yeah, they will produce the seeds. And the males, like this one, have multiple flowers and they are producing the pollen. And I think you understand, we need to move this pollen from that guy to that girl. And who does this? Well, pollinators do this, and in particular bees or bumblebees are doing that kind of work. And again, we want that pollen to move here because we are producing seeds, and it's very important that the pollen from this plant, from these genetics, is going to that plant with that genetics, because it's the mixing of both that will produce the high quality seeds that we are seeking. We have seen that this is a cross-pollinated crop, and do you know what? Bees, honeybees, are the main pollinator agent. Of course, farmers could rely on wild pollinators, but on those surfaces the risk is very high that just with wild pollinators you don't reach the expected yield. So that's how we introduce bees since many years already, to ensure that the pollination is done and the yield is achieved. The bees can improve the yield by 30 or 40%, which is huge. So now we have bees, we have the flowers, but this does not yet ensure that things will go as expected, because sometimes some things can happen that are not expected. And this is where BroodMinder and our tools is helping either beekeepers to know that their hives are healthy, and growers to know that the work is being done. So let me show you how it works. It is very important to monitor honeybee health, in particular during those high July days. The weather services have forecasted very high temperatures in southern Europe over the next few days, and we want to be sure that the bees are doing well and that all the vital constants are fine. And to achieve this, we are monitoring the bees, remotely monitoring the bees, using devices like scales to measure the weight and measure how much resources they are consuming or bringing to the hive. We are using internal sensors that are measuring things like temperature, because thermoregulation in a beehive is super important. And we also have bee counters, because pollination is directly related to bee trips. And the strongest the hive, the strongest the quantity of bees that are pollinating. We installed the monitoring system in the sunflower about 15 days ago, and we have been following what was going on every day in real time. The yard is at 200 kilometers from here, but since we are getting a constant stream of data, we've been able to follow the process. Overall, it has been running well. And I want to show you well, how we monitor this, the tools we are using, and what you can draw from it. So let's go. Here is my BroodMinder, and we have different views. The first one is this one with the apiaries, and we have the sunflower apiary here, there's a few metrics here. The first thing you have to know is that this green line is detailing, okay, it's telling you this is today. On the right hand side of the green line, this part here, you have the forecasting metrics, and on the left hand side you have the past metrics, okay? What we see with those main indexes here, foraging and nectar indexes. So this is very specific. Foraging is about if the bees are able to forage. We see that it's 100% because we are on summer and all the conditions are required for the bees to go out and forage. The other one, nectar flow index, is a bit more tricky. It's about the plants and their ability to produce nectar. And this is also related to weather conditions. And we see here that sometimes you have low nectar flow indexes, like here, 24%, on Tuesday 25%. Today is not a great day, neither, even if the sun is there. And we have had, during the pollination process, a few days like those. And we really see that there's a relationship between these and the bee trips, for example, or the productivity. But we will see this later. What else you have here? You have any kind of note you could have inserted through the Bees app, for example. And of course all the weather conditions, weather service that is delivering, okay? So this gives you the overall picture of the apiary, the past conditions and the future conditions. Then the second thing you do is you go to the hives. So in this tab here, we have our 3 hives, 1, 2 and 3. And the first thing we are seeing is that, most important, they are doing well. Their fitness is okay, healthy, is green, and it has been green all along. So this is very good, the hives are fine. The second thing you see is that you have the brood levels, okay? So this one is 93%, this one is 95%, and this is 80%. Those are top-notch hives. They are Langstroth hives on 2 deeps, and from my friend Frederick, and he is having super duper hives. So you see that the brood levels are extremely high, and yeah, okay, you have the strongest one, a little bit weaker and a little bit weaker, but they are weaker at the top, right? So this gives you a ranking on the hives, and we will see that there's a direct relationship with everything else we will be measuring. Then you have the weight, 37, 38, 33 already. Directly related, 95% of brood, 38, 40 kilos, 93%, 37, 80%, 33, so a little bit lower. Then you have the productivity. The pollination process is over, it's done, but the productivity has been low all along the process, which means that these genetics are not producing that much nectar because the hives are strong, and they could bring back nectar a lot, but they aren't because the genetics are not producing that nectar. And then you have this 5th column, which is about the foraging metrics, and here you have three figures. The first one, 69K, is the number of bee trips. The bees have been going out 69,000 times yesterday. The second figure is the duration of the foraging process over the day, so 14.8 hours yesterday. And the third one is the number of sessions, let's say, the bees have been working. Sometimes in a particular day you can have 2 working sessions because in that midday it has been raining or whatever. Here what we see is that they did it 14 hours in one shot. And all of them made about 14 hours, but it's not exactly like this every day. And by the way, we are seeing here again that the brood level has a direct relationship with the bee trips. This one is a bit weaker and has less bee trips than the other ones, yeah? And the strongest one has more bee trips than the other ones. And of course this is for yesterday, but if we wanted to look at the past week, for example, we can unfold here, look into the history and see, hey, okay, yesterday it made 86,000, but the day before it was 100,000 or 103,000. So you see this progression over the time and how they do. You can compare on the fly during the process what's happening here. But if you wanted to go deeper or to explore what has happened over a longer period of time, which is what we are willing to do here, because I see, okay, the productivity is always the same here, but the pollination process is finished, so I want to see from the very first day I installed the monitoring system. And then, yeah, it's easy. You simply have to click on this hive and go to the dashboard. We have a sunflower specific dashboard, which is showing us an apiary picture, because there are so many apiaries you don't remember what the configuration is. So this is giving you a hint of, okay, what are we looking to? And as I told you, we would like to look from the very beginning we install the system. So let's put 14 days, for example, okay? 14 days, and okay, again, foraging index 100% all along, very good weather conditions, even a bit hotter. Nectar flow index has been going up and down over the days. And then we have the radar counting, and we can overlay the 3 hives. I've been overlaying here on the left and seeing how they behave. Then we can see the brood levels. So the O2 is the strongest one. It has been at the top there all the time. The green one it was slower, but is catching back. So it's developing right now. And the blue one is going down a little bit. So we can see this. You can see the weight gain and lose. So we see that, okay, there has been some gain of weight, but overall very, very limited amount of nectar brought to the hive because of that genetics. And yeah, the productivity, which is the post-processing of the weight and how much real gain of weight we have got every day. We see that there have been some up and downs here, and then when the pollination process stops, you get stable all along. That's what's happening over the last days. And then of course you can compare with the weather conditions, the rain, the cloud cover, try to understand what's going on. Those dashboards are fully configurable, so you can add an extra field and put it side by side with, let's say, the bee count, for example, and understand what's happening. Overall, the whole process has been going fine. We know that the hives are healthy. We know that they've done a huge amount of work, because if you sum all the bee trips over 15 days, it's a huge amount of work. And yeah, not been back there yet, but we know that everything is fine. So remember, every hive counts.